Good evening. Our top story this week, Arizona Governor Jan Brewer's Special Care Team releases their report on 6,500 uninvestigated CPS cases, calling for sweeping changes to the child protective industry. And out of the 6,500 previously uninvestigated child abuse cases over the last few weeks, Arizona CPS agents have managed to snatch more than 400 kids. The Arizona legislature mulls giving another $6.8 million to the child protective industry, which the House Appropriations Committee approves. And with that, Arizona's new child welfare boss says that the child protective industry is going to get a full overhaul. In Massachusetts, Governor Deval Patrick speaks out on the state's hysterical child protection crisis, saying that there are no systematic problems at DCF, just missed visits and misleading reports after DCF lost little 5-year-old Jeremiah Oliver. And although he does say that big changes will be coming to DCF, he's still confident in his commissioner. In Connecticut, reforms are sought after the state's guardian ad litem system, which is wiping out parents' finances. There's a class action lawsuit from 2 Native American tribes that is alleging that South Dakota is violating the Indian Child Welfare Act by holding improper hearings and placing too many kids with white families. In North Carolina, Union County Social Services Department will have to reopen a handful of possibly botched child abuse cases to make sure CPS agents didn't mishandle them. And in California, parents aren't being told when their kids are being abused at daycare. In Maine, they're getting ready to pass some knee-jerk legislation to tighten regulations and hire more CPS agents after they screwed up and failed to shut down a daycare where kids were being abused. In Rhode Island, the child protective industry is trying to get out from under a lawsuit and federal oversight from the New York-based child advocacy group known as Children's Rights. In South Carolina, the state senators are not satisfied with the answers they're getting from the child protective industry regarding their policy of closing cases improperly to make it look like they're making progress on their caseloads. And in South Dakota, a petition to free Lakota children from state kidnapping attracts a record number of signatures in the first week. In Northern Ireland this week, an inquiry into the historical abuse at children's homes is taking place, where kids were treated like prisoners in Nazi concentration camps by nuns, even being forced to eat their own vomit. Children from India have been forced into illegal adoptions in Australia in the past year. An Australian foster parent got away with sexually abusing kids after being reported because the report wasn't deemed credible enough because it came from a kid. And the Australian Salvation Army deeply regrets all of the sexual abuse of children that happened while they were living in their group homes, where they were also sometimes caged, suffered corporal punishment, and one kid claiming to have been forced to eat his own vomit too. In Canada, more than 80 child welfare experts and system sucks come together for a roundtable discussion to figure out what to do about all the kids who have been dying in Alberta's child welfare system, including one little girl who suffered an abusive head injury while in foster care. The foster mother who's been blamed in that case has been accused of making up varying accounts of the tale of how it all came to be. And with the exception of the vocal activists who they've been threatening, Alberta's child protective industry is looking for input on how to change the rules so that the government can no longer hide the toll of children who die while in government care. The federal Liberal leader says he's shocked by the high number of kids who have died while in Alberta's foster care system. The former foster child pleads with them to end the stigma and shame that surrounds privacy laws. In Manitoba, a foster father is on trial for killing his 13-month-old foster son, but he's later cleared in that case because there wasn't enough evidence to convict him. And child welfare officials in Manitoba are also upset because the government is cutting off 4% of their funding in an effort to make them be more efficient, and CPS is threatening to cut off services that help families stay together because of it. In England, a judge tells a grandmother to stop posting pictures of her granddaughter on the internet after she had been snatched by British social workers. And a couple of British children were pulled from their mother on Christmas Day and given to a father who left 11 years ago. In Colorado, a foster mother is charged in the near drowning of a child in a hot tub. In Georgia, police still haven't filed any charges in the death of a 2-year-old foster child. In Idaho, a pair of foster parents is jailed for committing perjury while on trial for child abuse in a case where charges were dismissed. And in Ohio, an adoptive mother takes a plea deal in a child abuse case. In Texas, the homeschool community is pissed after CPS agents snatch kids from homeschooling family who are still fighting to get them back. A disabled man from Texas is arrested for the molestation of several of the foster kids who've lived in his home over the years, and he gets 30 years for those charges. In New York, a teenager is still missing from a Long Island group home after his friends were recaptured. In Iowa, a mother is suing the child protective industry after they stole her kid based on a false accusation, where even the guardian ad litem testifies that CPS agents were wrong for snatching the kid in that case. And finally, tonight in Washington, a boy who was dropped into the foster home of a convicted child molester sues the child protective industry for placing him there. For these stories and all the latest dirt on the child protective industry, visit www.legallykidnapped.com. And until next week, this is Baby LK, over and out.